Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to my predictions from the start of the season. The National League, the National League South, the National League North, and all the EFL and Premier League predictions. Obviously going to have a big focus on the National League ones where I had a few clangers, so make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, let's get straight into it. The National League predictions first. So if we have a look at the National League prediction from the start of the season, the first clanger, look who the top two are, Barnet and Chesterfield. Barnet, there was a point when they could have nicked worries of relegation. Chesterfield, again, they nearly had worries of relegation as well. So, yeah, for my next predictions, I'm just going to put the EFL sides in mid-table, because there is an EFL curse. Whenever you come down, rarely ever teams get back up. They tend to do a little bit better than bounce back up. They bounce back up the table. I think Hartlepool have done a little bit better this season. Obviously, Leighton Orient have done massively better. The top two are really shockingly bad. If you look at the bottom of the table, I've got Braintree somewhat right. They got relegated. They also got relegated. Same with Havant as well. So 2 of the 4 relegated. Gateshead and Solihull Moors. They're another 2 of them are both clangers as well. No one would have. I think with Gateshead, I think that what they've done this season with the money troubles and what they've had on the ownership side of things, they should have been relegated. The stuff that's gone on with Gateshead, they should have done much worse. But credit to those players that have put them up into 9th, 10th position, which is absolutely incredible for what's gone at that club. Solihull Moors, I think no one really predicted Solihull Moors to have a season that they've had, to get to a playoff semi, which they've always been a side. Obviously last season they nearly got relegated, and they've kind of continued that momentum under Tim Flowers. So maybe it was a little bit harsh to put Solihull Moors relegated, and they've done fantastically well this season. I put Barrow in 20th. They've really improved under Ian Evatt, and yeah, I think another side that's been lingering around that sort of area for a while. So it's not the worst prediction. Maidenhead, that's pretty much right. Harrogate, again, that's another clanger. They obviously got in the playoffs. I don't think. Obviously, Harrogate fans were positive about their season, but I don't think I would have. It's hard to say that Harrogate would have. They've come up and they've done really well. I think the National League North side have done over the last few years have done much better than the South side, and the Harrogate have done really well this season. Dagenham Redbridge 17th, again, I think that's solid. They're kind of around there. Maidstone in 16th. If they stuck with Jay Saunders, I think they would have been around there. But yeah, Maidstone this season, there's 3 sackings. If a club's 3 sackings, you're not done well. They finished bottom of the league, and yeah, it would be very hard to predict Maidstone bottom of the league. Obviously, Jay Saunders in charge as well. Halifax in 15th, decent. Eastleigh in 14th. I don't think that's too bad. I think Eastleigh, especially, I wouldn't have known. I think especially in the summer with the reduced budget of Donald going to Sunderland, you would have expected a bit of a downturn, but they've gone into the playoffs, which is better than they've done in a few years. So fair play to Eastleigh in that position. 13th is Dover. Again, that's pretty solid. Again, there was probably a time where Dover, that would have been an awful decision when Dover were in the relegation, but Hessenthal has come in there. 13th for Dover is really solid. Bromley, again, that's pretty solid. Hartlepool in 11th, that's pretty decent. Fylde in 10th is not great. You probably expect them to make a real push for the title next season. Bournemouth in 9th. I think they've just been poor generally this season. I think, I don't think that's too bad. Aldershot, again, that's pretty bad. Got relegated and in 8th. Salford in 7th is another weird one as well. I think my thinking was I didn't really like Salford, so I didn't want to put them top of the league. But yeah, Salford, I remember saying they obviously finished 3rd. I think everyone was putting them top, and I said they're going to have a poor season. So I think I'm quite happy with that Salford prediction, because everyone was putting them top. They didn't actually manage to finish top. And they had a bit of not a great start, and they had a bit of a downturn in March time. So I'm pretty happy with that prediction. Wrexham in 6th as well. That's okay. Sutton in 5th. They were in and around those playoffs at the end of the season. That was okay. 4th for Ebbsfleet. Again, when I made that prediction, I didn't know what was going on outside of the club. And if I did know what was going on outside of the club, I wouldn't have put Ebbsfleet in 4th. I would have put them mid-table. So yeah, I don't think that prediction's too bad. Again, with Leyton Orient in 3rd. I think that's pretty solid. I think Leyton Orient, I always thought they would be title challengers. At the start of the season, again, I've talked about Barnet and Chesterfield, how they are both awful decisions as well. So yeah, those are my National League predictions. I also made a hell of a lot of predictions as well. I also have done them for the National League North and National League South as well. So let's have a look at them. So I did predict the Woking Torquay title prediction, but I did favour Woking over Torquay. Again, I think that was maybe the decision of Gary Hours, not done great at that club. But if Gary Johnson had been there from the start of the season, Torquay would have absolutely smashed that league up. A pretty poor decision from me with the bottom 3 of Slough, Eastbourne and Concord have all had pretty decent seasons, and if you look at Weston-super-Mare and Truro, who have all got relegated. So yeah, you have to look at that National League South one that's pretty poor. Billericay in 9th. I think everyone was putting I'm really happy with that Billericay 9th one. That's one of the decent predictions I said. I said that with all the money they were doing really, really well, but the circus alongside it, and you don't know what's going to happen at that club. For Billericay, it was a tough decision to make, but I said Billericay in 9th, and that's a pretty decent decision. So I know a decent amount about the National League South, but from what I'm disappointed about the relegation, but I think I've done okay in the National League South. I don't think I didn't do great in the National League North as well. I did say Chester to win the league, and York City in 3rd again is pretty poor, and Hereford, the top 7, two of them were in the playoffs. That's pretty bad. Guiseley nearly got relegated. Kidderminster missed out. Brackley were in there. Stockport up there, who obviously won the league. Chorley in 9th, who obviously won the playoffs. So that's not great from me in terms of the National League North. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, it wasn't great. I put Leamington and Altrincham, and Altrincham in 21st is a pretty poor one, and considering Altrincham nearly a few games away from getting promoted. I put Spennymoor in 15th for only a penalty shootout away from getting there. Nuneaton are down there and nearly got relegated as well. So again, I think that's pretty poor from me in terms of the National League North. I don't know a great deal about it, so I'm going to use that as my excuse because that's pretty poor. So if we look at the Premier League prediction, I think I've done really, really well with the Premier League prediction. It's much easier to predict the Premier League over the non-league because there's so many surprise stories. If you look at the Premier League, if Newcastle went on to get top 4, you probably have that 4 or 5 times in the league. It's so much harder to predict non-league over Premier League. I think I'm pretty happy with my bottom 3, Cardiff, Huddersfield and Brighton. Brighton really, really close to getting relegated. Bournemouth at the end of it got close to getting relegated. Put them in 15th. People put them quite hard because they spent a lot of money, but 15th, close, reasonably close. Leicester in 17th is pretty bad from me. Burnley, Southampton, a lot of that bottom is okay. I've got 2 of the relegated sides. I'm pretty happy with that. I've got Wolves in 9th. That's somewhat okay. West Ham are in the hunt for top 7. Everton were also in the top hunt. Watford was maybe a little bit poor. If we look at the top 6, again, I'm pretty happy. I've got the title winners of Man City, obviously not the greatest, and Liverpool in 2nd. A little bit disappointed with Man United. Maybe should have been lower with all the stuff going on. Arsenal in 5th, that was pretty decent. Also Spurs in 4th. A lot of people put Spurs lower down because they hadn't bought any players, but I backed them to get in there. I wouldn't have maybe backed them to get to the Champions League final, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with my Premier League prediction. If we look at our EFL prediction, this is where it starts to go downhill. As I do have Bolton relegated with Rotherham and QPR. So I think the bottom 3 is okay. If we look at the top of the table, Forest, City, Forest and Stoke City, who have had pretty awful. Forest have been okay, but Stoke have had a pretty awful year. Norwich in 7th, who went on to win the league. Leeds in 4th. Sheffield United, who went on to get promoted in 17th. So yeah, there's a few, again, as I say, clangers in there. But again, you know, it's much harder. Championship, one of the most competitive leagues to predict. So again, pretty poor from me. If we look at our League One prediction, we've got Burton Albion to win the league. They were mid-table, so pretty poor. I've got Gillingham to get relegated. That's, again, hard to predict. Again, Accrington, everyone was probably putting them down. I've got Charlton up there, Sunderland as well. Bristol Rovers, who I think got relegated. So, yeah, again, League One's pretty poor. But it's not as bad as League Two. In League Two, I've got Notts County winning the league. And again, Notts County did get relegated and finish 23rd, which again is poor from me. The other team relegated, of course, was Yeovil, who I've got in 5th, which again is bad. MK Dons in 2nd, who did get promoted. I haven't even got Lincoln. I should have put Lincoln higher up. I've got Swindon in 3rd. That's a bit of a weird one. Macclesfield in 22nd is exactly right, so I'll take that. Yeah, so League Two is probably one of the worser ones. So again, let me know which of my predictions was the absolute worst. So yeah, let me know if you've had a look back at your predictions, how well your predictions did. I'm okay with predictions, but you know how hard it is to predict something. That's why people do betting and stuff. But again, yeah, which league was my worst predicting? Which one was my best? I think obviously Premier League, and I'm decently well. Which was my worst prediction in the National League. Again, let me know what you thought of my predictions. Leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all later. See you later.
Up the Fleet and subscribe to Nathan Holt.
Up the Fleet.
Can I have them over there? Sorry. Can I have them over there? They're not getting paid, are they? Fucking shite, innit? Hey, 1 minute, I'm doing so well.
I am terrible at my predictions.
I'm really looking forward to it, you know. Had a few beers.
At the end of the day, Wrexham bottled it anyway.